leaving. It's time to say goodbye. 32 gigs is what you're saying hello to, and NVIDIA is trying to say a little bit of a goodbye to the 5060 and 5060 Ti 8 gig. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. And yes, as mentioned at the top of the episode, we are going to be hosting a goodbye day for me here in Pittsburgh, because as a lot of you have, if you've been paying attention to things like comment response, I am moving back to South Africa with my family in a little bit, and we're gonna have a little farewell event for me that's gonna take place on Saturday, September 13th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. at a local esports cafe. It's called Resonine Esports. It's here in Pittsburgh. It's gonna be free to come. They have PCs there. They also have consoles there. It's kind of just supposed to be a low-key event where you can play games. You can say hi to me, Kyler, and Michael, since we'll be the members of the team there. We're also working to raise money for a center in Pretoria, South Africa that's dedicated to individuals with special needs and disabilities. And so if you want to participate in that and you can't make it to the community day, it'd be great if you could chuck a few bucks towards the fundraising campaign that we have. But in case you can make it to the Goodbye Community Day, we will be having various giveaways that are happening. We have several different companies that we're talking to right now in order to provide some, little goodies. Novel Keys, the first one showing up with some desk mats that we're going to be dropping at the event. So in case you want to get some swag, we're going to have that. We might have a PC or two. We're still working out the details. We'll let you know more as time's going on. But if you can make it on Saturday, September 13th, even for a little bit, to come say hi and goodbye, that would be neat. Love to have you there. And a lot of people would love to have more affordable CPUs. And AMD is trying to do that with their new iGPU-less 9000F series CPUs. So that's been popping up in various different retailers. The 9700F and 9500F have now started to hit the market. Now, it doesn't look like they're making its way to things like Newegg or Amazon just yet, but this is going to be launching alongside some Pro CPUs, with the 97 and 9500F costing $294 and $217 respectively, which is going to be slightly lower than their integrated GPU counterparts, and the Pro CPUs are going to be a little bit more pricey, which is to be expected because they have extra features. So let me know if you're excited for the iGPU-less versions of these Ryzen CPUs, or if they're just going to be, a dream to you because you're not going to pick one up. But I gotta let you know that dreams come in all shapes and sizes, good, bad, even Lucid. And PC cases also come in all shapes and sizes. And today's sponsor, Silverstone, combines both. The Lucid series from Silverstone are cases with ample see-through panels. Typically, this means tempered glass is used on the front and left side, allowing the beauty of your components to shine through. Following the Lucid 04, which launched a few months ago, the Lucid 05 is the big brother that is now capable of housing a standard size ATX build. So yes, that means it'll easily fit almost any gaming build you could think of without being huge and cumbersome. And like its little brother, you'll get a whole host of included ARGB fans and controller included for well under $100. So you won't have to spend much money to make your build look better and perform better. So grab the Silverstone Lucid 05 for your next PC build via the link in the description below. Thanks to Silverstone for sponsoring. And while you're going to be able to see through the Lucid 05, I also see the vision of what's going on here with GPD, who with their upcoming Win 5 Ryzen Max Plus 395 handheld Strix Halo setup, where they have a detachable battery, they're showing off a few extra things that they've been thinking up for this massive performer of a gaming handheld. So number one, they're saying that you can buy an extra battery in case you want to do that. So that's going to allow it to be replaceable very easily, which you kind of like to see it. I mean, it's kind of weird that it's external and it's massive, but it does make the swappability a little bit easier. And they also showcase a detachable cable system, which would allow you to house the battery in a separate spot while then plugging it in to the back of the handheld in case you want to just have that on the desk, but still kind of free roam and not be as tethered down as you would be to a USB-C cable. I kind of get the idea. It's a 3D print prototype that it looks like they're showing off. I like the thought behind it. I am still interested in potentially seeing if I can get one of the Win 5s and seeing how the Strix Halo performs in them. I like this. It's unique. It's a different change of pace from what we're seeing with other handheld manufacturers. And so I I don't think I'm gonna poo-poo it. And you know what else is a change of pace? How much RAM people are putting in their systems. We now have the latest Steam hardware survey, and it's showing that months and months going by, and people are upgrading and upgrading their RAM that's in their system. So this is kind of the byline that a lot of people are taking from the latest hardware survey, and that is 32 gigabytes of RAM is kind of becoming the de facto standard, with it now hitting over 35% of systems that are having that amount, and the amount that have 16 gigs is continuing to decrease, going down to 41.67, which is down from 43% just about 6 months ago. So this is a change that makes a lot of sense. RAM is kind of one of the simplest things that you could potentially upgrade, and as far as, you know, me talking with normal non-tech enthusiast people, they kind of view RAM as like a big upgrade for their systems, and so doing that just like it makes people feel better, like they really did something to their PC, and then also it's getting more and more affordable as time's going on. What you can also see from the Steam hardware survey is that the RTX 4060 is still the top dog in terms of GPUs, and the 5060 is kind of nipping on its heels, growing a 0.4% to hit the 1% mark, making the second biggest gains in the month of August for the Steam hardware survey. And I know that Reece is surveying the land of deals to see how it could save you some money on tech products.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. It is Wednesday, my dudes, and here's your deals. Starting off with the Samsung 990 EVO Plus NVMe M.2 SSD, with the 2TB variant going for $119.99, making it $57 off. But then next up, we have this Gigabyte B650i Aorus Ultra Mini ITX AM5 motherboard for only $149.99, making it $90 off. And then lastly, we have this Asus Prime GeForce RTX 5070 graphics card under MSRP for $523.79, making it $86.20 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, I just want to take a moment to talk about the deal that is Hollow Knight Silksong, this game that has been teased forever and is finally releasing tomorrow. Also got its price unveiled, and it's going to be 20 bucks. That's the idea. It's going to be $5 more than the $15 price point of Hollow Knight when it launched about 8 years ago, and now Silksong, 20 bucks. As far as I can see from the community response, people are more than willing to pay that amount. You're not going to be able to pre-order the game at all. It's kind of releasing out of nowhere, which is, it's a strange way to do it, but you got to respect Team Cherry and how they're not really charging a whole lot for a game that people have been desperately waiting for a hot minute. And some people are waiting for Intel to finally get their act together. And allegedly, even according to their CFO, Nova Lake is going to potentially be that for the desktop. And we have engineering samples showing up now in some testing showing that 52 cores of a Nova Lake S chip running at 4.8 gigahertz. So this is a big whopping CPU, 16P cores, 32E cores, 4 LPE cores, making it a big chunker. It's also supposed to have some form of 3D V cache, and it just kind of is showing that yes, Nova Lake is looking to be a change from what we currently have in Arrow Lake. But that is still getting refreshed because there's now been benchmarks of the Core Ultra 7 365K showing that it's being tested. That's all you should take away from this, because its score is lower than the 265K, even though the big upgrade for this next Arrow Lake refresh is that it's supposed to be slightly higher clocked. And so there's not going to be that much of a change. 365K is probably essentially going to be a 265K. And if you weren't thinking of picking up that, I don't know why you'd pick up a 365K, especially if they don't drop the price significantly. But speaking of dropping things, Nvidia is looking to do that with the RTX 5060 and 5060 Ti 8GB edition. Now, despite what we saw in the Steam hardware survey, that the 5060 is actually the fastest growing 50 series on the Steam hardware survey, Nvidia is finding that they need to cut production of that GPU and its bigger brother, the 5060 Ti 8GB, because they are just not selling well enough for them to continue to produce at the volumes that they have. So Board Channels is reporting that AIC manufacturers are going to get reduced shipments of the 5060 and 5060 Ti 8GB, with a 30% reduction on the 5060 and a 15% reduction for the 5060 Ti 8GB. So that seems to indicate that Nvidia is trying to balance out whatever lack of demand there is with oversupply, so that they don't have to drop the price on these cards, because if you can balance out supply and demand, then the price point doesn't have to actually move. according to basic macroeconomic theory. And where we're seeing reports coming out that the 16GB cards for both NVIDIA and AMD on the 9060 XT and the 5060 Ti are just completely outselling the 8GB variant. It just makes a lot of sense why they would potentially be slowing down the production, especially if these things they're sitting at MSRP, they're sitting on store shelves, and it doesn't appear like people are floundering to go get them. And especially yesterday, we released our review of the 9060 XT, compared the 8GB and the 16GB, and as well as threw in the 5060 8GB card in there. The 9060 just makes so much more sense if you're a gamer. It's just by and large way faster for the price point that you're going to be paying for that card. And so I could see why NVIDIA might have to change a few things, despite the 5060 being in a lot of people's gaming systems right now, at least according to the Steam hardware survey. And right now, I'm gonna not be in your survey of your eyeballs, because this episode's over. See you back here for more of the hottest tech news later.